Hey guys, how are you? Today we're going to start chapter 4, so it's our second unit for this class. So we'll do 4.1 notes today, and then you'll have an assignment, and then I believe you will just have an assignment next time, so we won't do notes until Friday. So the second section that we're going to talk about is financial decisions and planning. We talk about budgeting in this chapter, so I think you guys will like it. Here we go. Okay, so bell work for today. Let me move this because that's annoying. Where maybe says bell work. There, why won't it go away? It says name one of your needs and one of your wants. So for bell work today, I'm going to have you guys name one of your needs and one of your wants. I put a new bell work in the classroom for unit 2, so complete that in there. If you need Miss White to ever pause this video so you guys can get caught up on your notes, make sure you let her know and she'll pause it for you. So chapter 4, basically we start, we talk about money management. So we focus on money management and we start really simple. We talk about your needs and wants. So basic needs, basically these are things that we need to survive. So some examples would be food, shelter, water. Those would all be basic needs that we need. We need these things to survive. There can be other needs. So some maybe other needs would be, I would put education into that category. Yes, I know we don't need that to survive, but I do think that it is a need. We need to make money. So we do need some type of education. I also put clothing for different events. Usually I'll ask kids, what do you think I'm talking about? I'm usually talking about probably can't wear your PJs to work kind of thing. So you definitely need clothing for different events, books to help us get educated. So those would be other needs. Wants are things people desire beyond survival. So things that we would like to have, maybe that's going to increase our quality of living. Items can be needs and wants. So an example might be a car. So we might need a car to get to work, but we do not need a fancy brand new car kind of thing. So some items can be needs and wants. Financial resources are money or other assets used to acquire goods and services. Many people do not have enough resources to meet all their needs and wants. So we have what's called discretionary income. So this is going to be money left to spend after needs are met. So this is money that we can spend at our discretion. So basically when we get paid, we should pay for all of the things that we need first. So like our home and our water bill and groceries and clothing if we need it, things that we need first. And then after we spend that money, if we have enough left, we can buy some of our wants. After we pay for all of our needs, that's our discretionary income. We can spend that money at our discretion. How are income and wealth measured? The first way is through a personal cash flow statement. Basically, this is going to be a list of your cash inflows and cash outflows for a period of time. So how much money did I bring in? How much money did I spend in a specific amount of time? Usually it's a month. So cash inflows are your income. Cash outflows are expenses or items for which you must spend your money. So how am I spending my money? That's my outflows. Are we spending lots of money at Sonic each month? Are we spending lots of money at local brew? Those would be the things that we would need to look at. More inflows and outflows results in a net income. And more outflows and inflows result in a net loss. So if we spend more than we make, we have a net loss. This is an example of a personal cash flow statement. So basically it's showing at the top up here, this is the money that we've made. So this person has a part-time job. They make $120 a month. They have allowance for doing chores. They have lunch money, and they made $2 on their interest in their savings account. So they made a total of $222. Cash outflows, these are things that we spent our money on. We spent $200, so we have a net income of $22. The second statement we look at is a personal net worth statement, so how much you're worth. It shows a person's net worth based on his assets and liabilities. So assets are what you own. So things that we own are our assets. Our liabilities are what we owe. The difference is net worth. So some people could have a positive net worth. Some people could have a negative net worth. It kind of depends on how you've spent your money. Here's an example. So we have our assets over here on this side. So our checking account is an asset. Our savings account. These people have a baseball card collection and computers. Their car is worth $3,000. So total assets is this 46, 52, 56. Liabilities, they owe money on their car. They have some credit card debt. So this is their total liabilities. When they subtract them, this is the number. This is their net worth. So Jerry is worth $3,351.58. Okay, so the decision-making process is next. The first thing we want to do is define the problem. So we would maybe have, my example is, I need a computer. That's my problem. So for this, we would identify, close. Okay, identify all the ways the computer will be used, what features you want on the computer. Second thing we would do, we would gather information. So we would basically research and gather info on all the possible solutions and their cost. So we would look up different types of computers, how much they would cost, and we would look at them. The third thing we would do is we would compare choices. So this is where we're looking at all the research that we've done. We would list advantages and disadvantages for each solution. Fourth step, we would make a decision. Fifth step, we would take action. So 4, we would decide which computer to buy. 5, we would go buy it. And 6, we could go back and we can evaluate our decision. So maybe after some time has passed, we can go back, make sure that we made a good decision about the computer that we purchased. Next, comparing choices. So after we use the decision-making process, we're not going to get to pick everything, so we won't get to buy every computer. So comparing our choices, we have to make a trade-off. So basically, we have to give up one option in exchange for another. We can't buy all the computers, kind of thing. And then the opportunity cost, this is the value of the next best option. So basically what we are giving up. So if we decide to buy a Dell computer versus an HP, we'd be giving up the HP. The HP would be our opportunity cost. Financial strategies. So financial choices should be forward-looking, asking yourself how the choice will affect your future. We don't want to make decisions that aren't going to be financially helpful for us in the future. Consider the opportunity cost each time you make a purchase. Do not make snap decisions about financial matters. So like we talked about last chapter, don't impulse buy. Spend less than your income each month. So we do not want to be overspending. However much we make, we do not want to spend more than that. Be realistic when deciding what wants to fulfill. Okay, so with your seat partner, I have some questions. The first one, if I gave you $200 today, what would you buy with it? Number 2, if I give you $200 next month, would you buy the same thing as an answer 1? Why or why not? Number 3, how do your needs and wants differ from mine? Explain. Number 4 says make a list of items that are often considered necessities, but were considered luxuries or were non-existent in your grandparents' time. Explain how each item has increased your standard of living. So you guys are going to think of things that are considered necessities today but they might not have even been around when your guys' grandparents were kids. Number 5, financial resources include checking and savings accounts, investments, and other items that can be used to cover your financial needs. How can you add to and grow your financial resources? Why is it important to plan to do this during your lifetime? Number 6, think of a recent purchase you made. What was the trade-off and opportunity cost involved in this purchase? Does every purchase decision have an opportunity cost? Okay, so those are the questions. So I want you guys to answer these with your partner, with your seat partner, just on a piece of paper, and then I want you to turn them into Mrs. White, and then she will turn them into me. After you get done with those, she will start the video again, and there's a few more things to do with notes. Okay, here we go. Baby, there we go. So the next is budget. So a budget is a spending and saving plan based on expected income and expenses. Steps in preparing a budget. First thing is we want to estimate our income. So how much money am I going to make this month? We want to estimate that. If you have a job that pays a salary, that should be pretty easy because you know exactly how much you're going to make each month. If you work a wage job, so an hourly income, then it might be a little different. It'll depend on how many hours you work if you work overtime. Plan your savings. So you should always plan your savings after you estimate your income. You at least want to put 10% into your budget, at least 10%. And then that way you know for sure you'll be putting money into savings. So after you figure out how much money you're going to make, plan to save 10%. Estimate your expenses is next. There are 2 types of expenses. So we have fixed expenses and variable expenses. Fixed expenses, they don't change each month. They're exactly the same each month. They're always going to be the same amount each month. So an example of this might be like your rent, your car payment, your insurance. It's going to be the exact same amount each month. There's also variable expenses. These costs can go up and down each month. So like your groceries, they're not going to be exactly the same. Gas, your utilities. And then the 4th thing is you want to balance your budget. And then here's an example. So you can see that Andrea, she has her income, savings, expenses, and then her totals at the bottom. So she has estimated her budget to be weekly, monthly, and yearly. So she's saying she's going to make $120 a month. That's how much she makes yearly. So you guys can kind of see how that works. She also has her expenses down here. And to balance the budget, which is super important, you want your total income to equal your total savings and expenses at the bottom. So you want this number total to equal your income total. That would be how we would balance our budget. Budget analysis. So income, savings, and expenses will not be exactly as budgeted each month. So we can budget this, that we're going to maybe spend $60 on clothes and shoes, but we might spend more. So it's not going to be exactly the same each month. Variances are the difference between planned amounts and actual amounts. So the planned amount and the actual amount, if there's a difference, that's the variance. There can be favorable variances and there can be unfavorable variances. Looking at variances can help you better budget for the future. And then here's an example with our variances. So here's an unfavorable, like she thought she was going to make 120, she only made 110. So she made $10 less than she thought she was going to make. So that's negative 8% unfavorable. Allowance for household chores, she budgeted 40, but she actually got 50, so that would be favorable. So when you are making a budget, you can do a manual. You can have manual records. So basically you're just writing things down, pen and paper, or you can do an electronic one. We will do an electronic one at some point when I get back. We would use Excel like this. So you can use Excel. I like to use Excel because each month you could just change the numbers and it would automatically update it for you if you've entered the information correctly. And then that is it. So that is it for today. For your assignment, there's a couple of things I'm going to have you guys do. You guys are going to create a net worth statement, so something, or a cash flow statement, something that looks similar to this, and then a net worth statement, something that looks similar to this. This assignment is in the Google Classroom. I think it should be self-explanatory. So if you guys need help, email me, let me know. And then I'm going to have you guys go through the decision-making process. So those steps that we talked about, Ms. White's going to give you guys a paper. You're going to come up with your own problem or goal, and then you're going to go through the steps. So this is for yourself. Okay, that is it. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you guys soon. See you later.